2025 NFL Draft coverage on Keon Sports is brought to you by Chatty's Pizzeria, the home of Night 2 of the Keon Sports Live NFL Draft Show on Friday, April 25th. In the heart of Bay Village, at 28611 Lake Road, this incredible pizzeria offers a full menu of food and drinks. They have everything from a casual dining experience to the romantic setting of a long-awaited date night. Their food is made on the spot with fresh ingredients and classic recipes that the entire family will enjoy. From a cozy spot in the igloo to the party room, everyone will be taken care of. Call 440-471-4485. That's 440-471-4485. Or email info at Chatty's Pizzeria for reservations for the upcoming prime rib night. North Olmsted Sportsman Club. They offer a little bit of everything that the true outdoor sportsman would enjoy. At NOSC, memberships are open to everyone from novice to master. For those just starting, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources sponsors several adult and junior programs open to the public at NOSC. Everything is provided free of charge, including equipment, ammo, and targets. Also, don't forget Ladies' Night. Find out more about one of North Olmsted's oldest and most prestigious clubs at North Olmsted Sportsman's Club. Cement Mason Local 404 Union. Whether you are an experienced journeyman or an apprentice, their doors are open for you to join the union. Current and future demand for skilled craftsmen necessitates an apprenticeship program that takes into consideration practices of one of the world's oldest trades, along with instruction in new techniques, applications, technologies, and materials. The Local 404 Cement Masons Joint Apprenticeship and Training Program, JATC, supports a world-class curriculum of instruction and on-the-job training for more than 40 apprentices annually. Union Cement Mason skills are honed with the most comprehensive apprenticeship training program in the industry. And JBL Roofing and Construction, with 25 plus years of excellence in roofing and construction, this family-owned and trusted company is your first choice in roofing needs. Experience the difference with JBL Roofing and Construction. You can find out more about them at jblrc.com. Welcome back. It's another opportunity to talk about NFL draft prospects here in the 2025 NFL draft, and it's the wide receivers who are up today. So the first two episodes, quarterbacks, running backs, a weaker quarterback class, but an incredibly strong running back class. The wide receivers, there's always a ton of players to write about, to talk about in every single draft. But this year is a little bit different than some past years. It's not as strong at the top. There's still plenty of good players that you're going to get in the mid to late rounds who could potentially do something for a team, or at least are nice round outs for your roster in the depth chart. Well, the thing is, there's still a couple really good players at the top who I think are going to make a major impact, make a difference for the team that drafts them, and I want to talk about those three here today. So let's dive in for the wide receivers, my top three in the 2025 class. At number 3, Luther Burden III of Missouri. Burden is an elite slot talent and easily a top 3 receiver in this class. His twitchy movements, change of direction ability, that allows him to win outside even though he best projects as a slot. He's a natural hands catcher with elite yards after the catch ability, and his deep ball tracking skills are also excellent. His compact build helps him bounce off of tackles, which greatly helps as a returner as well. Burden is a willing blocker, which that's nice because you don't typically see that from most slot receivers, especially with somebody who's a smaller build like him, but he's not afraid to stick his nose in there. His route tree does need some more refining, and he doesn't necessarily have elite top-end speed. Also, his exposure versus press man coverage is a bit limited. And unfortunately, Burden was for some reason underutilized in 2024 with the Missouri Tigers. Needless to say, he would probably instantly be a top 3 receiver on most teams. So you put him on the roster, he's probably a top 3 guy for you. And hopefully you need a slot receiver because I think he's going to best align there. Going to be a really good slot receiver with the potential to run some routes still on the outside to change up who he's matched up against and maybe exploit some mismatches. My player comparisons for him, Josh Downs and Jahan Dotson. Downs, a natural slot receiver, a lot of potential with the Indianapolis Colts. I really like him as a player. Problem for him, he just hasn't had great quarterback play. So if he can get better quarterback play in the near future, you might see more from Downs. And Jahan Dotson hasn't panned out to what most people would have expected in the NFL. I thought he was going to be more with the Commanders, went to the Eagles, and now he's behind A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and getting some work, but not to the level that I would like to see. Needless to say, there's still a lot of ability that he has, can run out of the slot, can run outside, and that's exactly what Burden's like as well. My projection for him, mid-first to early second round. Best fits, the Miami Dolphins. Be interesting to see Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Luther Burden all together. Those three certainly don't offer you a whole lot of size, but what a dynamic group of 3 route runners. That would actually be pretty entertaining television to watch. The Las Vegas Raiders, they probably need more help on the outside than in the slot because they don't have a great plethora of wide receivers by any means on that depth chart. But Geno Smith needs a guy to throw to. And I think after how he utilized Jackson Smith and Jigba last year with the Seattle Seahawks, I think that Geno Smith would definitely like Luther Burden there on that team. And then the Washington Commanders. I think that they could use somebody who has that versatility on the inside or on the outside. So you have Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel just joined. You bring in Luther Burden, and that could make for very dynamic passing offense with Jaden Daniels, who was excellent in his rookie season. My wild card's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, they could, in addition to Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan stepping up a little bit last year, Chris Godwin was down and out. So it's an opportunity for them to get another wide receiver, add to that group, which would help Baker Mayfield. At number 2, Emeka Egbuka of Ohio State. For multiple years, been the number 2 receiver at Ohio State, behind Marvin Harrison Jr., and then Marvin Harrison Jr. made way to the NFL and was a top draft pick just last year. And it paved the way for Egbuka to be the number 1. And even though leadership-wise he was the number 1, the freshman phenom Jeremiah Smith hype quickly began, and Smith showed why it's insane that he's then spending 3 years in college football when he's NFL ready right now. Needless to say, those 2 receivers, plus then adding the third of Carnell Tate as well, unbelievable group in Ohio State's run to the national championship. Regardless of being looked at as the number 2 the last couple years, he still leaves Ohio State as the school's career reception record holder, and he's still one of the best players in the country. Unreal the talent that Ohio State has had, and that trend continues to go that way. So an embarrassment of riches for the Buckeyes. But talking some more about Egbuka, his skills could instantly make him a top 3 slot receiver in the entire NFL because he has this strong build and this size to also play outside, but he's just so dominant and plays so well operating out of the slot. He flashes great speed after the catch, and he's a slippery runner. As a route runner, he's a technician, crafty, and his excellent route tree constantly gets him open. Short area quickness and spatial awareness, those also help him find gaps in zone coverage. To add to the impressive list of abilities that he has, he's a natural hands catcher who rarely drops anything, even in traffic. And his return ability is another asset if you just need to add one more thing to the list. My favorite trait for him is his blocking ability. You typically don't see any wide receivers who block with the same intensity of Emeka Egbuka. That is unique, and if you get him in more of a run-heavy scheme, he's still going to be able to fit in because of that run blocking ability. So regardless, he's going to be scheme versatile. The only knocks for him are the injury in 2023 that was nagging, lingering, keeping him out for about half the season. Wasn't able to produce quite to the level that you would have hoped in 2023, but he bounced back really well this past year. He had limited snaps on the outside in college because of some of the bigger receivers on the team who have a ton of talent. His catch radius is average and his startup speed is a little bit lower, but I really think Egbuka could potentially be a 1,000-yard receiver if he remains healthy in 2025. So rookie year, putting up 1K in yardage does not seem out of the equation if he ends up in the right fit. My player comparisons for him, who I personally think are the best slots in the NFL right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jackson Smith-Njigba. Egbuka is bigger than both of them, a little bit more physical than both of them. But that being said, the skills, the talents running out of the slot, I think are all very, very similar. I think those three could be, for many years to come, the ones who are known as the best three slot receivers in the NFL. My projection for him, he's going to be a top 20 pick. So going night one in the first round, be shocked if he slips past that. Best fits for him, the Atlanta Falcons. They could use a reliable receiver there. Michael Penix, he could use all the weapons he can get as he's going to be the starter this year. And I believe in Michael Penix. I think that was a good pick for the Falcons last year. Bijan Robinson, the backfield's unbelievable. Drake London is a big receiver who gives you some ability on the outside, but they need more. And Egbuka, with the ability to run on the outside, the ability to be in the slot, I think is just a perfect fit with the Falcons. The Steelers, they'd love to have a slot receiver of his quality, and they sometimes tend to like to draft Buckeyes. The Rams, you have Puka Nacua. I see him running on the outside there. You put Egbuka in the slot. Cooper Kupp no longer there with that team as Cooper Kupp is part of the Seattle Seahawks. I think that Egbuka would be a nice addition. And then the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen getting Emeka Egbuka. Maybe not necessarily the perfect fit with some of the other receivers already there. But Egbuka would immediately become the best receiver on their roster. It's just a matter of where they move him around to. Might actually then have to shift around, Khalil Shakir and some other guys. But needless to say, Josh Allen would be loving a threat like him. And then at number 1, Tetairoa McMillan, Arizona. McMillan just edges out Egbuka because he is a freak when it comes to his length and height. His extremely long strides let him glide past defenders. The true X receiver even has the ability to line up in the slot, and he's a true mismatch thanks to his diverse route tree and fluid movements. Not often that you can see a tall receiver line out of the slot, but I think he has the ability to do so. McMillan is an elite ball tracker. He displays a massive catch radius, and his hands are reliable in contested catch situations. Not only is McMillan a red zone cheat code, but he knows how to find soft spots in zone coverage and is actually pretty decent at gaining yards after the catch. His speed's not elite, and his release packages have room to improve, and I would like to see him get stronger because that will make him even more dangerous in this league. Due to his length, sometimes it can be hard for him to make sharp cuts instead of rounding his turns, but needless to say, one NFL team will be drafting a monster in the first round. You're going to see McMillan be a 50-50 nightmare in his rookie season and beyond. My player comparisons for him, T. Higgins, that length, that size, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. as well. I think there's some similar route running ability. Marvin Harrison Jr. more explosive, but I think he has that level of both of these players. We still haven't even seen Marvin Harrison Jr. quite hit his ceiling in the NFL. He's got room to improve as he builds that chemistry with Kyler Murray. So we're going to see him try to hit new strides as well. He's going to be a top 15 pick, so going day 1. And my best fits for him, the Seattle Seahawks. Cooper Kupp, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. You add a big receiver like McMillan on the outside. That would be a really good fit. The Denver Broncos, Courtland Sutton, McMillan. Two really nice red zone threats for Bo Nix. The San Francisco 49ers, they could really use a wide receiver right now. Deebo Samuel gone, very different skill sets, but they don't have a big wide receiver quite like him. And then my wild card is the Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he gets the bulk of the work there, running out of the slot. You have Jameson Williams, who stretches the field and is a vertical route runner, but where's the size? There isn't quite that big receiver that they have. I think Jared Goff would really appreciate a guy like McMillan. Well, that does it for the wide receivers. Tight ends coming up next as we round out the skill position players, so make sure you tune in tomorrow. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already on the channel, make sure you do so. I'm Cole McDaniel. Thanks again.